Hi, I'm Whitney.
And I'm Taylor, and we're the Ghost Sisters.
Whoa.
Whoa! So, this gonna be a quick episode.
Woo.
I don't think either of us are upset about that.
No.
So, anything to talk about? There's never anything to talk about,
Never.
right?
We did this last
No.
time.
We do it every time,
Every
but that's okay. I
time.
think that's just tradition at this point.
Yeah.
It's tradition.
Tradition.
So, we are going to be going to North Carolina this time.
I don't know why
And
I instantly thought you were going to say North Korea, and I was like, I don't think we can.
I don't think I want that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think we can, and I don't think we should. So,
Yeah, that'd be bad. No, North Carolina.
Carolina.
Because Divya, in true Div fashion, he's decided he's going to call me Tay Tay, by the way. So he's getting
It's
back
high
at me for that.
school.
Yeah, it was like I haven't been called that since high school. He was like, excellent.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't have like a fun nickname. Like I get called Wit,
Wit,
and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to call you like Witter Pitters?
Ew, that's terrible. God, like Whitsker. But other than
Yeah,
that,
Whisker's a fun one.
That's like family.
That's a family one,
Yeah.
yeah though. Yeah.
But like Tay Tay. Tay Tay also like ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't like that?
Ugh. Like I don't like it.
I was called Tay Tay, I was called Tay, I was called Tater Tot.
Like Tater
was called
Tot
Tater
is
Tot a lot.
cute if you were like a toddler.
Yeah.
Tater
But
Tot
for
the
a
toddler.
37-year-olds is
Yeah.
So, but while he was on military leave, he stayed at a hotel because that's what they do, and he was like, you need to look up this hotel because it's like haunted as fuck. I was like, cool. So I started looking at it, and it's haunted, but it's not haunted enough that I could make a full episode about it. So we're going to North Carolina, and we're going to visit Charlotte this time because that's where this particular hotel is located.
Okay, I was like, so we are doing this hotel? We're not doing this hotel?
Yes.
We are doing multiple hotels?
We're doing multiple things,
Okay.
yes. So we're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is about 751 feet above sea level in the Piedmont region of North Carolina. It's known for its rolling hills, and it's near the border of South Carolina, which means that it actually ends up being kind of a hub, a hub for both states, which is weird.
So is it Carolina?
Instead of it being north or south, it's just Carolina.
It's just...
My brain could not handle that.
Well, and then my brain was like, is there a state called Carolina? Like, did I fuck this up? No.
Nope, okay. You didn't. Just I couldn't handle it. So it's got the Catawba, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, Catawba River to the west, and there's some lakes and stuff. It says that it has 4 seasons. Like it's got hot, humid summers, mild winters, and then supposedly spring and fall, but it's in the south.
Once again was like, oh, we're talking about the hotel, the 4 seasons. And I was like,
the second I said it's got 4 seasons, I was like, wait, not the hotel.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, that's fancy, but okay.
Yeah. So it's got a population of about 885,000 residents, which is much smaller than I thought it would be. Interesting.
Wait, repeat that? What?
885,000 residents, and that's it.
I don't
less than 1 million. What's happening to you?
I don't know. I was
She's got migraine fog, you guys.
I was like, I can't tell if that is a lot or not. Like 80, because at first I thought you said 885. And that was it. And I was like, no, that's not a lot. And then you said 1,000. And I was like, but then it is a lot. But
yeah, so to put that in perspective, Houston's population is 6.8 million.
People stop moving to Houston.
Yeah, that's legit. So, originally, This area was inhabited by the Catawba Native Americans because it is fertile land and it has a lovely waterway. They were known for their pottery and agricultural. They could do agriculture. They
Whereas
did maize.
Colorado is known for their pot
Pot.
and their
And
agriculture.
hmm,
Hmm. Oh, I didn't tell you that. Okay, this is a small segue for literally everyone because everyone else is going to be like, why the fuck are we talking about this? So, whenever I had my
yeah.
review of all of my classes and stuff, there was one class that they told me I needed to take, and it was Earth and Environmental Science. And I
Hey.
was like, bitch, I took that. I took geology. And she was like,
Mhm.
I don't see it. All I see is this ag class from Sam Houston. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, there's an agriculture class. Like, what was that? And I was like, floral design. And she was like, yeah, I don't think we can use that for earth and environmental science. And I was like, why don't
But
you
you took
use the
geology.
geology? And then she looked
Yeah.
further. They put in my biology. And I was like, whatever gets the job done, fine.
Okay. Yeah, that whatevs. Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's dumb.
We talked about agriculture and I was like, okay,
I got a story. Yeah,
floral
that's funny. I
design is not the same.
Whitney learned Whitney learned in floral design that she is very allergic to lilies.
Yeah, I had unbloomed lilies in my design, and it was super pretty. And they let us take the designs home, or we could donate them to the local senior center. And so I took it home, you know, because it was pretty and I wanted it. And I put it on top of my TV that was in my bedroom, and I closed the door and I went to sleep, and that thing fucking bloomed with all of its glorious pollen, and I was so sick. Like,
Mhm.
huge sinus infection. It like overnight because of that fucking
Yeah.
pollen. And
Yep.
so I got rid of that the next time we did lilies. I was like, donate that shit. Um and then the other one was pine, like
Yeah,
pine
pine. Dad's
needles and
allergic to
stuff.
pine
Cause
too.
yeah, we did
Yeah.
like a floral design for like a Christmas wreath. And took I didn't even take that home. I was dying in the classroom with it.
Yeah.
And again, a sinus infection. Which then,
Uh-huh.
at my desk job, my boss every year from one of the vendors that we used, they would send a beautiful pine Christmas wreath. And every year he would be like, I'm gonna hang this on my door. And I'm like, so literally right behind me. And he was like, is it a problem? And I'm like, we do this every year, Chris. I am fucking allergic to this. And he's like, oh. So-
I could imagine him being like, here's some goldfish. Deal with
yeah,
it.
yeah, basically. I mean, he was like, fine, it'll go into the break room. And I was like, good, I never go there. But then, yeah, the goldfish were
Yeah.
normally involved. If I ever cried in front of Chris, he was
Yeah.
like, here's some goldfish. And that was supposed to make things better, but it backfired because then I was eating his goldfish and crying. Um,
Mhm.
anyways, so that was a
Yes.
far segue from
Yeah, that went
agriculture
places.
in North Carolina, but
Goodness.
uh
All right.
yeah,
So, yeah, they actually traded with neighboring tribes in what was called the Native American trading paths, which eventually became known as Great Wagon Road, which is very
great
difficult to say.
great ragging.
Um,
All right,
Great Wagon
Shaggy.
Road.
Rawr. Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. Which this was a key route in early European settlements for movement between Pennsylvania to Virginia. So it's kind of like the Oregon Trail, but north south. Likely it was explored by the
But
Spanish in.
did people die of dysentery? And did it
I'm sure
go
they did.
dun
I'm
dun
sure that was not
dun?
Oregon Trail exclusive.
I just
If it, I really hope it did. Like
like
just environmentally, a
yeah,
bird was like ba ba ba.
like it wasn't thunder. All of a sudden they just hear dun dun dun, and they're like, "Oh fuck, someone died of dysentery." Shit.
Right?
Like
It's like four caravans behind you. Someone died of dysentery.
And then you hear, "Oh, no, Georgia," and they're like, "Ah, Georgia died
Ah,
of
there it is.
dysentery." Okay,
Okay,
back to it,
so,
I'm sorry, I'm
uh,
apparently very
we are
ADD
very
right now.
squirrely today. We
Sorry.
are squirrely. So it's likely that the Spanish explored this in the 16th century, but there was no permanent settlement formed until the British came in during the 18th century. And they established Charlotte, North Carolina in 1768, and it was named for Queen Charlotte Mecklenburg Strelitz.
She was
And it was nicknamed
not one
what?
of King Henry's wives, right?
She was King George III of England's consort.
Okay. That
Yeah.
took a
I was like,
turn I
"Okay."
wasn't
Okay.
expecting. I was expecting it to be like, "Oh, she was the queen during, like, this time to this time, and she was married to so and so," not like she was
Oh,
fooling
yeah,
around with
no.
someone. I was like, "Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay."
Yeah, so this meant that the nickname of Charlotte became the Queen City, and it was named in British efforts to win the favor of colonists, and we all know how well that worked.
Mhm.
So, very shortly after that, let's see, maybe about 7 years after that, the Revolutionary War became a thing. So,
Because of this town.
the
No.
right. It was the site of what is debated, the authenticity of this is debated, but it's the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence in 1775. And we think that this is preceding the United States Declaration of Independence.
What the
So basically, it
what
was,
is M
I don't know.
Mecklenburg? What is you guys
That's the
you
last
can't
name
just
of Queen
make
Charlotte.
shit up. Okay. But what is it what was it for? Like, did she have independence? She was like, "I will not be a consort anymore. I'm a queen." Like, what? I
No, this
don't
was the city's attempt. So they, because it was named for Queen Charlotte, I guess they named it the Mecklenburg
so it was
Declaration.
just
Like,
this one city that had independence suddenly? Like, what
well, it's not that they had independence, but it was like a document that they drafted up to declare independence, but it never actually went anywhere as far as I understand, because they can't even say that it was actually a thing.
apparently
It's still
neither did
debated
Queen
whether or not it
Charlotte,
was,
so there you
right?
go.
So in 1780, Charlotte was occupied by General Charles Cornwallis, but he found that the city itself was too resistant to British rule. And so he ended up calling it the Hornet's Nest of Rebellion, which meant the nickname now became the Hornet's Nest.
Oh, this town has been
So
I don't we're not even at the hotel yet, and I'm like, I'm taken
I
for a
know.
loop. Shit. God damn.
So another important thing, the Battle of Charlotte took place here. I didn't get into that because I was like, this isn't about battles.
But why didn't you? Because that would have been, like, you know,
Because I'm looking
bet
at hotels and
at the
shit.
hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
I was
But
wondering if that would do that.
it happens more often than you think. Um,
I know.
but
Yeah,
if you think about it, like, battlefields seem to always be,
they do.
a
And there are
hotbed.
some battlefields. Yeah, there are some battlefields in Charlotte and that kind of thing that I might get into in future episodes. There's several places that I was like, ooh, I'm going to do a future episode on this. So,
Okay.
um, in the 19th century, we started to grow as a small merchant town and cotton processing center, but it was the discovery of gold in 1799 in the Reed gold mine that allowed for the establishment of the Charlotte Mint in 1837. And that basically, like, banking went crazy during this time period. And it is known for the headquarters.
Ch
What?
Charlotte Mint? Like, coins? Like, they had their own
Yes.
coins? Okay.
Yes. And then eventually the US Mint took over. But yes, back in the
Did
time,
I
the Charlotte Mint
learn
was.
something just now? Did
Oh,
wait, did all of the states have their own
I think
mint?
so.
Like, they all had their own coin like, Texas was like, "We got the non-pesos. It's the Texas pejos." Pejos. Y'all heard it.
Yeah, so it says here, after the Revolutionary War, the US was governed by the Articles of Confederation, which authorized states to mint their own coins.
The more you know.
blowing Whitney's mind today.
Wow. I thought I was done with
Alright.
classes for the week. Oh, Taylor, you making me learn
Nope,
shit.
I sure am. So, it is known as the headquarters of Bank of America and the headquarters for East Coast operations of Wells Fargo, so it's, like, big deal.
Yeah, I
Uh
remember when I worked you guys remember the story with Chris. Um, it was a financial operation, and
Yeah.
the main office was in
Uh,
Greenville?
Greenville.
Yeah, okay, I was
Yes,
like, "Was that
I very
correct?" It was like,
specifically remember Greenville.
"Okay, yeah."
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Which is in
21st century saw the
Carolina, by
growth.
the way. South Carolina. North Carolina?
Just in Carolina.
I just said I didn't
Oh,
want people to
Jesus.
be like, "No one gives a fuck about Greenville, we're talking about South Carolina, North Carolina." But
North Carolina.
I don't remember
Yes.
where it is. Anyways, whatever. Fuck it. Okay,
That's
let's move
okay.
on. I'm done.
Okay. So, the 21st century saw the growth of the financial sector, but then we also saw the diversification into energy, technology, and healthcare. The uptown area became the center for business and art and entertainment, and that's actually where the majority of the locations that we're going to look at are today.
Okay.
And it is home to the Carolina Panthers in the NFL and the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA.
Every time you try to say Charlotte Hornets, I think you're gonna just say Charlotte Whores.
Oh,
Every every time. I don't know why, but the way that it comes out, it's just like Charlotte Whore. And I'm like, "Oh,
Charlotte Hornets.
Hornets."
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so the first location we're going is the hotel that Divya stayed at that he was like, you need to look into this place. And it is the Dunhill Hotel, which was located, or it is located at 237 North Tryon Street in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is part of Uptown Charlotte. And it is located near art galleries.
I'm looking it up. Dunhill Hotel. Just like the other ones, I wanna see what I'm looking at.
It's pretty.
It
It's very pretty.
it's pretty.
Yes.
Y'all, you guys,
So,
do some Google.
yes. Do some giggle.
Goog that
So
shit.
it's located very centrally within walking distance to art galleries, museums, dining, nightlife, and shopping.
Like the nightlife.
It was originally constructed in the late 1920s and opened in 1929 as the Mayfair Manor, which was originally a residential hotel, so people could stay long term and short term. And
Hmm.
that is mind boggling to me that you would live long term in a hotel, but
I mean,
it's like
but
hotel accommodation with the comfort of
we
home.
talked about that a little bit whenever we talked about the LaSalle too, because that one was
Yes.
also
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah, you're
So,
right.
and I mean, people do that now
Yes.
too, Taylor. I don't know why you're
That is true.
weirded
Yeah.
out by that.
It's just foreign to me. City needs and visitor changes caused it to transition to a full service hotel, and then in an effort to modernize the hotel, it was renamed to the Dunhill. The interesting thing with the Dunhill Hotel is that during 1988 they were renovating and they found human remains. And this included a some bones, a skull, and parts of a pelvis that were inside of pants.
Ew, ew.
Yeah,
Where is it?
yeah.
Was it in a wall? Because
They didn't say.
I feel like that one would be terrifying, but also like,
Uh-huh.
what a like, bear with me. What a great hiding spot for a dead body is a newly built building and in between the walls. As long as like,
That's
they're
legit.
already done stinking, which they wouldn't be.
Yeah. So at this point, the building had only been abandoned for about 7 years. So they think
Oh,
that it
so
possibly,
they were
yeah,
done stinking.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they think that it was possibly a homeless person because they used to squat on the property.
But why
What?
was the pelvis like you said it was broken?
Yeah, there were parts of a pelvis.
Like it like
So
ugh.
yeah. So the way that it was found and the fact that, you know, it's bones in an abandoned building, you need to investigate it. So the police did do an investigation. There was a forensic investigation, but technology in 1988 wasn't great, so they were unable
What?
to identify the person, and they were not able to determine a cause of death based on what was available.
And they
So,
didn't, like, hold on to it, like, there hasn't been anything
I
with it
looked
more recent?
they said so I looked and they were like, "There could have been advances, but they haven't reported anything." I was like,
Someone
"Well,
needs
that
to look
was."
into this.
Yeah, like, why are we just I think that the general consensus is this is probably a homeless person, and
So it's
as
still a person.
I know, but as they say on Morbid, it makes them quote unquote "less dead" because
But
they're
it's still
yeah,
the fact
I
that
get
their
it.
pelvis is broken,
There's a thing, like, there's something going on there,
there's something
and
happening.
it could very well be that the pelvis itself wasn't broken, it's just that, the connective tissue between the bones has moved away, has deteriorated, so now the bones are just
I'm pretty
scattered.
sure your pelvis is one bone.
Well, so they're saying parts of a pelvis, so I'm assuming the pelvic area.
Okay, because to me, that
So
sounds like part of the pelvic
the
bone.
actual pelvis bone, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it says parts of a pelvis, so I'm assuming that that's the pelvic area. So, I
There's been a
know
murder.
it has been a moida. So, they think that that's possibly part of why this place is haunted because duh, human remains. But in addition, there are reports of suicides. And that being said, I was not able to find like legitimate documentation about suicidal activity at the hotel, but they say that due to specifically during the Great Depression, economic hardship, financial ruin, and personal despair, people were known for jumping to their deaths from the higher floors of the building.
Mm,
So,
yeah,
one
okay.
thing that visitors tend to report is apparitions of a man falling past their window.
Hold up. Hold up. What movie was that? 20 no. Oh gosh, what is that dude's name?
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
nope, you haven't said anything for me to know what
Oh,
you're
I
talking
thought you
about.
went, "Ah," like you knew something.
No, you said, "Oh," and I said, "Och."
Og, erg. He's got a sister.
You've just described many people in Hollywood.
Um, she plays, the female Woody, um, Jane? Jessie. She plays Jessie.
I still don't know who you're talking about, but
Oh my god, everyone, um, uh, ah, it's like I can almost hear it. What is his name? Oh my
yeah.
god.
Played by, John Cusack?
Yes, John I mean, she was played by
Joan.
Joan
Yeah,
Cusack.
Joan, but yeah, John Cusack. Okay, so what movie?
So there's a movie, 1408, and that's what it made me think of because, like, in the movie 1408, sorry, spoilers if you guys, it's been out for years, so get over it. Um,
Uh-huh.
so he rents a room in this hotel, and he sees a woman continuously fall out of the window, and so it made
Mm,
me think of this, like, whenever you said that. Um,
yeah.
the other shit happens and everything, of course, but,
Mhm.
but yeah, that was and so I was wondering what that was based off of, and because it is based off of a true, or inspired by real things that happened, quote unquote, at the San Diego Hotel del Coronado.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So,
Hmm.
not, Charlotte. So
Not the hotel, but it has the vibes. I got you.
it is a hotel where spooky things happen, and it is not the hotel we are talking about where other
Right.
spooky things happen.
Yes. It's fine. So, when this man falls past the window, of course, people freak out and then they go out. They call the front desk. Oh my God, I just saw somebody fall past the window. They go outside. Of course, nobody's there. So,
Man, can you
Yeah, that's
imagine, like,
creepy.
um, working at the hotel and being like, "We get this call all the time," and then
All
the one
the time.
time you, like, don't check,
There's
like,
actually
there's
somebody, yeah,
someone,
that would be really
like,
bad.
ugh.
Yeah. So, the next one that they've got is a ghost named Dusty, and there's no
Dusty?
documentation. Yeah, there's no documentation, there's no story about Dusty. So, what I get is the vibe that we have with Stephanie, where we just named her,
Okay,
and
I was gonna
we
say,
were
is
like,
Dusty
"Here we go."
male or female?
It's
Or
male.
okay, or I was,
Yeah.
I don't,
We assumed his gender, but
yeah.
he is known as the prankster ghost at the
Alright.
Dunhill, and
Okay.
he tries to scare or he playfully interacts with people by making noises, moving objects, flicking the lights on and off, turning electronics on and off, and then opening and closing doors. But
Okay.
there's no legend associated with him. There's no real documentation about a person named Dusty that worked there or stayed there. So
I mean,
he's just a dude.
I never knew a Stephanie until Stephanie showed up in my life, so,
That's legit. I really like,
like,
I
I
wanna know what her real name is because I'm sure it's something like
it's a dude
Fred
named
or
Craig.
something. Right, exactly. We've been calling her Stephanie this whole time. So, but I do greatly enjoy that she's embraced it because every time we're like, "Stephanie, are you here?" She's like, "Sup, bitches?"
Again, it could still be, like, a dude,
Yeah, 100%.
and it's
So,
just like, "Well, I guess that's
yeah.
me.
Yep.
Thanks for
So
noticing me."
thanks for noticing me.
Anyways,
Other things that they see are foot or that they hear are footsteps and laughter in the bathroom areas and empty areas around the thing. And I
don't
just the fact that it's the
laugh at me while
bathroom.
I'm pooping.
Yeah, like it's a
Everyone
and
goes through
sometimes
things in the
man.
bathroom, okay?
Exactly. Bad stuff happens in the bathroom.
Let's
Right.
be clear. Anyways, okay.
That's exactly. So the next place that we're going to go is just up the street at 220 North Tryon Street. I keep wanting to say Tyron Street, at the Carolina Theater. And this is a very, very pretty theater if you go in to look it up. It's very decrepit, like they're trying to restore it right now, but it's a gorgeous theater. And it's in Uptown Charlotte and it opened in 1927 as a movie palace and a live performance theater. And it had a single screen. It was back at the time of the single screen movie theaters, and it was designed by R.E. Hall and Company. It has lavish decorations, very ornate, very old school theater style, a very grand lobby, and it seats about 1,800 people, which is
Oh,
a lot of
damn.
people. It closed in 1978 as entertainment changed from single screen theaters to multiplexes, which is what we have today. And then TVs became a thing in homes. So basically, they didn't really have a need for it anymore. It fell into disrepair, which if you guys look at the pictures of this, it's a beautiful theater, but it is very clearly in need of some very like some TLC. But they have been restoring it, and it's hoped that once it is restored, it will be a center for arts, culture, and community events. So
So was it a Nickelodeon?
I guess so. I was like, what about Nickelodeon? What's going on with Nickelodeon? Yeah, okay. I
Like,
remember that they were
Ni
called Nickelodeons back then.
Nickelodeons, 'cause
Yes.
you paid a
Yes.
nickel to get in, and it was
Paid a nickel.
a big deal during the Great Depression and
Yes.
everything, and
Yeah.
black and white. Hooray,
So
film degree!
hooray. So there are a few different hauntings, but the big ones that are associated with this is Fred. He is the ghost of a former projectionist, or what they think is the ghost of a former projectionist, but he
Does
is
he
known for
project
moving.
himself?
He's known for moving lights around or causing them to malfunction altogether. Props will be moved around. They'll hear bangs and clanging from the empty projection booth up at the top. And all that they have to do is go, knock it off, Fred. And then all of it'll stop.
My bad.
Yeah, he's
Bet.
like, sorry, didn't know you could hear all that. And then
He's just up there
the
trying to, like, do his job, and they're like, "Fuck off, Fred!"
yeah,
And
they're
he's like,
like, Fred,
"Fine!"
shut the fuck up. Y'all
"Eat a
don't
dick,
appreciate me.
bastards."
So the other one is the Carolina Area Paranormal Society, or CAPS, went out to the Carolina Theater, and there was a group of people that were there, and these two people kept on like moving to the side and talking to each other, but not really including everybody else. And finally, one
Rude.
of the people in caps was like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
Secrets hurt someone.
Yes, they are no fun. So, uh, they said that they kept hearing a female ghost. Like, they said at first that we keep hearing a ghost. They were like, "That's Fred." And they were like, "No, it's female." And they were like, "Oh,
It's
okay, that's
Fredina.
new. It's Fredina." Well, so they said that she kept on talking about shoes. And they were like, "Why the fuck would
As
there be a
most
female
ghosts
ghost
do.
talking about shoes in the balcony? Like, that doesn't make any sense."
Because she was
And
a
it
high-class woman and she had fancy
Well,
shoes when she
yes.
went to the Nickelodeon all by
Well,
herself in the Great Depression.
yes. Exactly, and it turns
Everything I
out
just said made no sense whatsoever because there were no high-class society in the Great Depression.
no. I mean, there were,
There
but they
were, but
certainly
they
weren't
still were
weren't going to the
struggling too.
Nickelodeon.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
They went
So,
to the Dimelodian.
the Dimelodian. It turns out that Ledbetter's shoe store had opened and closed in the mid-1900s next to the theater, so they think that actually she was talking about that shoe store, and
So she just, like,
the
wandered over and was like, "Shoes.
I
Oh my
guess
god,
yeah.
shoes. Let's
Shoes.
get some
Let's get some
shoes."
shit. Let's party. Um, so apparently the person that kind of, I guess, owns and is working on restoring the theater, he came up with the name Fred for this ghost because whenever he started talking about the ghost, the name Fred popped into his head. So
That's
whenever
what
he
happened with
started talking
Stephanie.
Exactly. So whenever he started talking about this particular female ghost, the name Clarissa popped into his head. So he uses Clarissa.
Okay, Clarissa
So
explains it all. I got it.
that's exactly what I thought. It was like
Ah!
speaking of Nickelodeons. So
Wow, we are
uh
dating ourselves.
we are. That's okay.
We've
So
done that twice now.
we
Many
have, yeah.
times. I think every episode.
Every episode, yeah. In addition to Clarissa and Fred, there are former patrons or performers that will be seen as fleeting shadows or figures in period clothing. They will hear music or voices. You'll feel, of course, spots and feel like they're being watched and that kind of stuff.
I can't decide. I know I have mentioned this a few times. I think about, like, my
Mhm.
life as a ghost. If, like don't make that face.
Your your future life as a ghost or your current one?
It's a little touch and go. But I
That's
think
fair.
about, like, because I was upset whenever, like, Sam Houston's, like, known associates or whatever, like, they were forced to haunt things. I don't know if I would
Oh,
be that upset to be, like, party goer number 3 kind of thing. Like, you know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm just partying in the afterlife. I would much rather that than it
exactly.
be, like, something tragic. So
Yeah, like yeah,
but
agreed.
I would also try to make a point to, like, talk to someone and be like, "I'm party goer number 3." Like, I would try to like, I don't wanna just be like, "Oh, there's a random person watching the show." I would be like, "Whitney's here.
Yeah, yeah,
Whitney's
exactly.
watching. Whitney's
Winnie's
watching."
here, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is another theater that is in the area. It is the McGlohan Theater in
Whoa.
Spirit Square. Yes, and this is
In
part of Uptown
Spirit
Charlotte.
Square?
Yes.
There are
Yes, it's
spirits in the Spirit Square?
there sure
Oh
are.
my god.
So this is located at 345 North College Street. And it started originally as a church. It was called the First Baptist Church and it was constructed in 1909. And it has the classic church attire. It's got, or, aesthetic, where it's
Okay, I
got the
was
big
like,
domes.
it has a collar and,
Right. That's
like,
when I said attire. I was like, that's not the
it's
right
just a
word.
priest outfit out there, it's not even, like, bricks or anything, it's just a
Right.
priest's
Exactly.
robe. Yeah, like, okay,
Yes. So it has Byzantine domes. It has stained glass windows. It's a very, very pretty building.
sounds pretty.
And in the 1970s, it was repurposed as a theater and named in honor of Lunis McGlohan, who was a jazz
A
musician and
judge.
composer from a judge
A j
uh,
he was a jazz musician.
from North Carolina. And it only seats about 700 people. But what was really kind of disappointing about this one is that I didn't really find much about the hauntings aside from they think that the people that went to church there are the current haunters, and they will
Oh,
be
they're not
roaming.
even there
Yeah.
for something fun. Sorry if you guys like going to
No.
church. I'm just saying, I don't wanna listen to a sermon for the rest of my afterlife, like, at
Right.
least a play. Again, party goer number 3, like,
Right,
let's make this
exactly.
fun.
Yes, but they're heard roaming the halls. You can hear footsteps. They will hear them singing on stage, like singing gospel and like hymnals and that kind of thing. So that's a weird thing. Um,
That makes it, like it went from,
Even
like
creepier.
yeah, it was like it went from, like, "Oh, light haunting," to, like, "I'm gonna get sacrificed," like, shit.
Yes.
Like, it
Like,
went
could you imagine, like, you're sitting there and it's dead silent, and then all of a sudden you hear this voice, this personless rendition of
Amazing
Amazing Grace,
grace.
or I thought Go Tell It on the Mountain for some reason.
Oh, that is not is that a hymn?
Yes,
I thought that
yes.
was just like a an old-timey, like, again, Oregon Trail, like, kind of song, like, "Oh, tell it on the mountain."
It's, that Jesus
Dun,
Christ is
dun,
born.
dun. Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
so
someone got dysentery in the middle of the song.
Jesus Christ. Literally. Alright.
Karen got a broken ankle. Shoot her. She's gonna die
Shooter.
anyways.
So, the last one that we're gonna cover is Founders Hall, and this is located in Uptown Charlotte still. It's 100 North Tryon Street, and it
A lot
is
of stuff on
it was
Tryon.
yeah, so this was a weird one that I couldn't find history on. I
It
like,
just
the history,
appeared?
okay, so the legend of this is that it was once a medical school, and then it got repurposed into a shopping center that's in the same building as the Bank of America headquarters. But whenever I go to find this whole medical school thing, what pops up is information for a town that's way outside of Charlotte, or it's just been erased entirely and the history starts from 1974 and goes up through current. So it's a weird thing, but
Is this a glitch in the
the
Matrix? Did
right.
we find a glitch?
I don't know. It was very, very weird because there is a legitimate legend about this place. It's about a girl in the 1800s. Her name was Louise. She was from nearby Salisbury. She died, and body snatchers stole her corpse to sell to the medical school of
Oh.
Founders Hall.
Okay, I get, like, grave robbers.
Yes, grave.
I
Well, they're called
thought
body snatchers for.
I was like, "Aliens, fucking shit, it did get" like, it just okay,
Yeah, no.
body body
So
snatchers.
the legend is that there's an apparition of a young girl that wanders Founders Hall, and it was to the point that, like, the medical students, so the legend on why she was snatched was that the medical students were in desperate need of cadavers to do research on,
Yeah,
and that was the whole point of body snatching way back in the day.
yeah.
Um, so her spirit begins to haunt the medical school, and it was so upsetting to the medical students because she always appeared upset and was often said to be screaming at the top of her lungs.
Oh, I was okay
Yes.
with the upset, but the screaming, like, I was not expecting.
Yes. So they got so freaked out about it that they eventually returned her body to her to her grave, so then that way she could be buried, and her ghost stayed. But
Yeah, because you still fucked with me, like, don't fuck with me.
exactly, exactly. So, once it got converted to a shopping mall and a business center, the girl still haunts it. She has since stopped screaming, but now she just opens and slams doors shut all over the place.
I don't know why that was funny.
'Cause it's just
It's
so
just
very,
like they
"You
shut her up
bitches!"
somehow, like, I don't just it turned
So
into a shopping mall, and she was like, "I can't scream in here," like,
right.
ugh.
Yeah, exactly. So, 2 places that were on my list to do, were 2 plantations. One's known as the Lotta Plantation and the Rosedale Plantation, and I was like, plantations typically have some gnarly history with them, so I wanna do those as, like, a Plantations of Charlotte, North Carolina episode. So,
Okay.
those are in the future for anybody that's listening that's like, "You didn't talk about this." That's why. And there are so many other haunted places in, North Carolina that or in Charlotte that I was as I was researching this stuff, I kept getting new stuff, and I was like, "Shit, I might have to have a Charlotte, North Carolina part 2."
Okay.
So yeah, that is the really short first foray into this. I Foray has been a word for me recently. I've said it in lecture and I've said it in this. It's a
I
very
was like,
strange
you've
thing.
said it like a lot.
I
Not
have.
just like in the past couple episodes. Like I feel like since we started, you're like, we're gonna
Oh, really?
foray into
Oh,
this.
I don't know why that's a word for me, but it is
Taylor's
apparently, and that's okay.
fancy. I'm over
I
here just
guess
trying to figure out the word for car, but whatever.
it happens. Migraine fog is a thing.
Yeah. It's a land ship.
So it's a land ship. It's a Mexican grilled cheese.
What an idiot. So, side note, I was dating a guy and we were all hanging out, drinking some beer and everything, and then him and his buddies were talking about like different snacks that they could make, and they were talking about like grilled cheeses. And he goes, "Oh, if you take some tortillas and you put cheese in between it, like, man, that is an awesome grilled cheese." And I was like, "You mean a fucking quesadilla?" And he was like, "Oh." I was
Oh.
like, "You're an idiot." So,
Jesus.
anyways.
But yeah, so I'm planning on doing a whole lot more with Charlotte, North Carolina, and I actually have some very fun things planned for the next few episodes for me. So
Hooray.
yeah, I'm getting on top of my life again, Whitney. It's very hard,
I'm
but I'm
not. You were
doing it.
like, "I've got fun things planned," and I was like, "We'll figure it out, y'all."
Yeah,
I
that's
w
how it's been for the last year for me. So,
I mean,
but I'm getting
that's
there.
I feel like that's how it's always been for me with this.
That's legit.
Sorry,
That's legit.
I love you guys, and I wanna do better for you, but also flying by the seat of my pants, I feel like is working okay, so, like, we're just
That
gonna keep going.
that's Whitney's modus operandi for everything.
It
So
really is,
it's
like,
yeah,
fake it till you make it. That's kind of
it's
I
legit.
I don't feel like I really live that motto, but then I look back on it and I'm like, "No, yeah, you did that.
Yeah,
You
it's
faked
fair.
it and you made it. Look at you."
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Imposter syndrome is real, people.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, it is.
Huh, wonderful.
But anyway,
Yeah,
we hope you enjoyed our trip to North Carolina and look forward to many more in the future.
and, we hope you guys keep listening, and we will spoke yo later, bitches!
Speak you later, bitches.
Bye.
Goodbye.